What a difference a few days makes for Chelsea. We were talking last week about a crisis. Conte signs a new contract. They get in the big striker that they need.
Not just that, they fix a price for Diego Costa, which they hope their 45 million might be ambitious, but I think it clearly lays down a marker. They're pretty confident that they can shift Matic for a price that they're comfortable with. I think from Chelsea, it's been a very, very good week. Now, the only thing I'd say about the Conte contract, interestingly, Conte got a raise. He got 2 more assistants. He didn't get more years.
Right.
So I think this is something where both Conte and the club are looking at each other and saying, like, we're going to stay together as long as we're comfortable. But I think it's to Conte's credit. He says, I'm not going to go and demand one of those 5-year deals, which then makes him impossible to sack either.
If it wasn't for Manchester United, Lukaku would be playing for Chelsea right now, and MORATA would still be at Madrid. Is that a fair statement?
I might suggest if it wasn't for Lukaku's agent, that might have something to do with it as well. Look, this fact that United and Chelsea were both chasing the same players, I don't think is that surprising. At this stage this level of center forward, there's a finite number of players who fit that role, and inevitably they're going to be chasing the same guys.
But inevitably we're going to have the conversation as to who got the better deal.
I think Chelsea will come out and they'll feel that they got a better deal because I think their deal was cheaper.
Right.
Morata's going to be earning substantially less money than Lukaku will. I think the commissions to the agents are going to be less. The transfer fee was less.
Yeah.
You put over all of it together, they feel better about it. Now, they could also just be saying this because they missed out on Lukaku as well.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I think each of those players has kind of landed at the club that is better suited for them. I think Mourinho would be very happy with Lukaku. We keep talking about the number of games that United drew last season, and maybe that being the difference between them finishing whether they did 6th or the top 4. We've also made the point and pointed to Lukaku's own domestic goal scoring record. Antonio Conte has worked with MORATA before, so here again you have a manager who's brought in a player who he knows and feels suits his style and what he wants with Chelsea a whole lot better. So never mind agents' cuts, never mind fees. I think Manchester United have got the better player for their short-term needs, and I think Chelsea have got the player that Antonio Conte clearly wants and needs, though I feel MORATA will turn out to be the better long-term signing.
We talked a lot about the psychology of Lukaku going from Everton to Manchester United, whether or not he could do that. Morata's obviously been at big clubs before, but he hasn't really had a consistent run in them, has he? Would that be your concern if you're Conte?
I think that is a concern, is how many minutes do I give this guy, because he's simply not used to playing 45, 50, 55 times a season. I think that's going to be an issue. I think that might be why we might see Chelsea perhaps move for another striker, maybe shifting Batshuayi, or if Batshuayi stays, certainly Batshuayi taking on much more of a role.